Hello, FA Nation. I'm Brandon Marianne Lee. I am here with the one, the only, Mr. Howard Bender. Hello, Howard. How you doing?
How you doing? I gotta tell you, you know what? I've got probably about 8 ounces of NyQuil in me, about 8 tablets of Dayquil, and I was just chugging a bunch of Pedialyte actually right before the live stream. So anything goes, Brandon.
Pedialyte. All right. I thought that was only for people who were hungover. I was told that being hungover is supposed to do that, but I think it is so disgusting. I don't know how you do it. I'm very
I got a bottle actually because what happened was the reason I got sick was because my darling friend Kath brought over her wonderful son Liam, who's like a little bacteria bag.
Oh
And
yeah.
and he when he goes to tell me a secret, he coughs in my mouth to tell me the secret. He's like wiping his nose and then he's touching my face. Whatever the case may be, this is why I don't have children. Because they're like little bacteria bags who just get you sick. And so I said to her, I was like, your kid just rubbed snot on my face. And she left me a bottle of Pedialyte. I was like, I will drink that. I kid you not. I've been throwing up for 48 hours now straight.
I don't even know what to do with that because I think Pedialyte is just so gross.
Just
I would rather be dying than have
get
that.
those electrolytes in there. No,
Maybe
dying
not
was
dying.
sitting on the couch last night. The reason I'm in my Yankees hat instead of my fantasy alarm hat because I was vomiting profusely yesterday. And I guess I had my hat on and I took my hat off to wash my face afterwards and I brushed my teeth and I went and I sat down on the couch next to my wife and after 5 minutes she's like, did you throw up all over yourself? Did you wash your hands? Did you do anything? I was like, yeah. Totally. I washed my face and my hands. I turned and I looked at her. I had vomit chunks on my hat that I put back on. I didn't even think about it. I just put my hat back on and went back on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so this is going to be one hell of a week 16. Let's get to some start sits.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
There's a 50% chance I will vomit during this live stream.
There's a 50% chance I'm going to vomit after hearing that story. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to week 16. This is totally what we would do in week 16 here. All right. Let's start with some start sit questions. We're also going to do a bunch of news. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Would you go Goff, Winston, or Wilson? PPR. It's a quarterback question.
I'm going to go with Wilson here. I think it's a good matchup against Kansas City. I love Goff's weapons. I love Jared Goff, but let's face it, this dude's looked like a wide-eyed rookie over the last 2 or 3 weeks. He just looks terrible out there.
It's very weird. Also, remember when the Rams used to score a lot of points? That was so fun.
Good times. Good times.
I'd like for that to come back. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I just think Wilson, just consistent. Full point PPR, need one. Ballage, which we might as well talk about that. James White, we'll talk about that too. Josh Adams. Okay, so let's actually attack these three individually. Okay, so Kalen Ballage is the new kid on the block that everyone is going to swarm to because Adam Gase gave him a ton of touches last week. However, Adam Gase is and we can't trust him as far as we could throw him. And I actually haven't met him, so I can't throw him, and that is how little I trust him. Then we got James White, the announcement today that Josh Gordon not only is taking some time away for his mental health, but also that he is, again, suspended indefinitely, is a huge piece of news. A lot of people say this is a Hogan thing, and this is a revenge game, and also this stuff. But the problem with Chris Hogan is that he hasn't done anything anyway all season long. James White they kind of backed away from him. Are they going to go back to him as a safety valve? And then also it's a bad matchup against Buffalo. They're actually quite good against the pass.
Quite good against the run, too.
Yeah, so Buffalo's actually a really good defense. But if that also means that they may need to use a safety valve, dump-offs, which would involve James White. So it's kind of in terms of the game plan, there's a lot of different ways we can go here. Josh Adams is playing for the Philadelphia Eagles, who happen to feel invigorated since getting Nick Foles, I guess. I don't know what to say about this. Nick Foles himself having a bad fantasy week last week, but the Eagles looked actually the best that they had in a long time as an offense. They're going up against Houston. It's kind of a tough defense there. We're taking a little more time with questions because it's week 16. There aren't as many, and there's no game tonight. So I'm sure that people are also not as on the Twitter as they normally are.
Oh, no. They are.
Oh,
they're all over the Twitter machine. But, I mean, how refreshing is it to not have a Thursday night game? That whole, just under the gun feeling of got to get these Twitter questions answered immediately.
Yeah, we can just tell. So I just chilled with this question. So let's talk about this. If you only have to pick one in a PPR league between Ballage, White, and Adams, I would pick White. I'd like to hear you.
I'm really kind of torn on this. And you know, the problem that I have is that, you know, Josh Gordon being gone, I don't think that really affects James White's usage rate that much. I think the problem with the backfield is the return of Rex Burkhead and the fact that Rex Burkhead catches passes and the fact that Brady likes to dump it off to Burkhead. So, you know, White, Burkhead, Sony Michel, I guess, you know, I mean, you just saw James White's snap counts reduce like over the last 2 weeks. So that's kind of a negative thing. If I could count on Gase giving Kalen Ballage 15 touches, I mean, I would lock him down immediately. Josh Adams going up against Houston, I don't like that matchup. I don't think it's a good matchup. The way you beat Houston is you throw it on them. Their secondary is trash. And I think Nick Foles with Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Ertz is definitely going to be a lot better of a situation for the Eagles there. So I kind of shy away from Adams. Also, because you're getting Wendell Smallwood so heavily involved when you have 2 touchdowns last week. I know, right? Right? It was like the vomit on my hat was how we felt about Wendell Smallwood. So I kind of tilt towards Ballage here in the sense of,
okay.
I mean, they've crapped on Kenyon Drake all season long.
Yeah.
It'd be so bizarre for them to, like, in a matchup against the Jaguars, for them to all of a sudden say, you know what, we are going to go with Kenyon Drake. When I think what they need to do here is they need to take a good, strong, long look at Kalen Ballage and find out, do we have a running back here? Because they're going to get rid of Drake, whether they trade him off or whether they just don't, you know, they like just release him outright in the last year of his rookie deal. But they have to take a look at Kalen Ballage and say, is this our running back for the future? How does he stack up against the NFL right now? If he does well, okay, great. We don't have to, you know, address that issue in the draft this year. If not, well, then we know that we have to address it in the draft. So I'm going to lean towards Ballage here. But I don't think that James White's going to be a far behind as the number 2.
Drake's actually had a lot of really good games. Honestly, I mean, what he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games of over 17 fantasy points this season. He had double-digit fantasy points in 3 of his last 4 games. Now, last week, you're right. I mean, he was at Minnesota and had 1 carry for 6 yards, barely involved with anything. And that's when Kalen Ballage broke out. But it's not like they haven't used him. The problem is he'll get 5 points, and then he'll get 25 points, and then he'll get 7 points, and then he'll get 18 points. So they're just really inconsistent with Drake. I'm worried everyone's going to start Ballage, and we're going to have a 25-point Drake game again. I mean, that we never know. We never know. That's why I hate Adam Gase. There are a lot of reasons, but this is one of them because he drives me crazy. So I agree with you. If I could trust that they're really going to be logical, really going to find out what they have in Kalen Ballage, which, by the way, why wouldn't they have done that all season? They didn't use him at all. I find this just very bizarre.
Because they were trying to get Frank Gore to tick up on the old, rushing touchdown list so that they could try and exploit that one, much the way the Colts did last year. I'll tell you what, let's go to our resident Patriots homer, producer extraordinaire, John Impemba. I'm curious as to his thoughts as far as the usage in the backfield, because my man Jim Bowden today on the show was like, Sony Michel. I'm like, yeah, against Buffalo, giving up less than like 90 yards per game on the ground over the last couple weeks. I don't know about that. John Impemba, welcome in. Tell us, what are the Patriots going to do this week?
I think they're protecting James White for the playoffs. I think we might see Rex Burkhead get an uptick in maybe playing time. I think that's sort of where I'm thinking this running game's going.
Brandon always says if you're looking for a DFS running back in the playoffs, James White is your guy.
Oh, yeah, they're totally saving for the playoffs. I think the problem is I don't think they're good enough to do that.
I mean, aren't they? They're pretty much, they've clinched the division, haven't they?
No.
No. Miami's in the division because they also have the tiebreaker. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Well, it's very possible. They're playing the Jags this week. Can't remember who they're playing next week.
Buffalo. They're at Buffalo.
So they could, if Miami wins out and New England does not.
Does New England have to lose both games?
I think they might have to lose both. It's one or both. I'm not quite sure. But listen, the Bills. I don't know.
Bills are no joke.
They're no joke. I mean, their defense is no joke. And Josh Allen, again, inaccurate as he is, somehow he just pumps up that team, and they are just doing things. And Robert Foster, if you guys have not listened over the last freaking month, where I've been like, I'm telling you, he's the guy. He is definitely the guy. Yeah, I'm just saying. The Patriots have been able to be very presumptuous in terms of what they're able to do in the playoffs. Right now, they're nowhere close to home field advantage.
Oh no, I mean they're not going to get. They're not even going to come. They're not going to get home field advantage. I think that's the least of their concerns right now. But
I think their biggest concern should be that they're going to start off with the Chargers. I think they can get their rear end kicked at home against the Chargers in the wild card weekend if they don't get it together. So I don't know. I think they need to kind of practice. And now they don't have Josh Gordon. Here's my thing. I agree with Mpemba. I think he's totally right. They're saving James White for the playoffs. I think now that Josh Gordon's not there, though, they got real problems. They got to figure out an offense that's going to take them deep into the playoffs that doesn't include receivers.
Can't we just be done with the Patriots? It's a wrap. We're good. We're out.
No, I think they're always here, baby. Sorry. Full-point PPR, need a flex. 2 from the above. 2 from the above. So if we're going with Kalen Ballage, which I think is for the upside a good choice. So it'd be James White, Josh Adams, Josh Reynolds.
Ooh, I like Reynolds this week.
You like him better than Adams and White?
I like him better than Adams. I don't necessarily know if I like him more than White, only because you have to rely on Jared Goff getting him the ball, and Goff has just looked so bad that I think I would go with White over him. But we saw in the last game that they played, they threw the ball to Josh Reynolds in the corner. I think it was 3 straight plays that they did it, and then they came back towards the tail end of the game, and that was their game-winning drive, or it was supposed to be, and Goff threw the exact same pass, overthrew it to Reynolds in the corner. So he's getting the red zone looks, and I do like using him. I'll probably use him as a nice little under 5K play over on DraftKings. But I think for your seasonal leagues, you're probably better off with White.
I mean, the interception where Reynolds was the target was really bad. They definitely were working on. Yeah, well, and Reynolds didn't really help it. He also, and the throws have been bad. He only caught 5 of his 12 targets. 12 targets is a lot, though, so we're looking at that as a positive, but certainly there's some issues there.
Yeah, but I saw 5 different targets to him where the ball was pretty much uncatchable.
Yeah. Also very involved, Gerald Everett. So hasn't gotten into the end zone as of late, but getting, I think, 7 targets per game in the last 2. Jerry, what up? Need 1. Rudolph Lacoste, if Lacoste is cleared to play.
Oh, Rudolph, no matter what.
Yeah, I think or throw yourself on a spear.
Yeah, we did a bunch of tight end breakdown stuff today, actually. One of the things that I did say about, I don't even know if we talked about Rudolph in here because we were just looking at the bottom feeding defenses. But with Detroit doesn't rank very well against, covering the tight end. If Darius Slay is going to shadow Stephon Diggs, then that's going to take Diggs away as a red zone target. We know that Cousins likes him as a red zone target. So I think that kind of pivots to Thielen and Rudolph, as opposed to Thielen and dart throw Aldrick Robinson.
Kirk Cousins needs to get it together.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know what else to say. It's hard for me to...
I was all over him last week, right? Oh, I think I got to back a truck of sourdough
Yeah, I
front of
just
your
love
place
that
in New
Kirk
York.
Cousins. Yeah, and I was like,
Did you see that GIF that dude posted of the truck that was like
yes, that was
backing it?
so funny.
Here's your freaking sourdough.
There's sourdough. Yeah, because they did end up running, which they needed to do. And man, did they need to do it because Cousins did not look any better.
I almost sent you a smug text after the Stephon Diggs touchdown to open the game.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like this close to being like, give me my bagels.
I'll tell you this, Miami is my underdog defense of the week going up against Jacksonville because even in a 41-17 loss, they still logged a ton of sacks, interception, defensive touchdown. I think against Jacksonville, they'll be A-okay. But yeah, that was a crazy game. I could not believe it. I just was like, what is he doing? And you're right. I think actually what he was doing is I think he was doing what you were saying. I don't think you were wrong. I think he was trying to prove himself, but he just was worse. I was like, stop. Let your people run. Anyway, Lindsay says hi. What up? Agreed. Skull. Yep. It's sad. Scary. We got my YouTube peeps. We are so busy over on YouTube. We love you guys. Full point PPR. Need one. Oh, yeah. We already did this one. You had it on YouTube and Facebook. So way to go. Vikings or Detroit or Broncos. Or I'm sorry, Vikings versus Detroit or Broncos versus Raiders for defense this week.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, I think I would probably go with the Broncos against Oakland only because Oakland's having some offensive line issues. They're trying to hold Jared Cook back a little bit more so that he can help block. And that's obviously taking away one of Derek Carr's most reliable weapons there. So I think the pass rush really for Denver can withstand, Derek Carr trying to chuck the ball around, like the secondary struggling against Carr. I don't know about that.
Who loses against Cincinnati and can't score points?
Ooh, did the Jets play?
No, it was the Raiders, and they were hideous. I couldn't believe it.
So
it was
bad.
shocking. Anyway, looks like a lot of people didn't make it to the finals, Christian. Well, they came in, Christian. Here they are now. They're just late to the party because it's Thursday and there's no game. Things will change by Sunday. Pick one PPR. Tevin Coleman, Damian Williams, Spencer Ware, Robbie Anderson, James White. I want to talk about this, the Williams-Ware situation. I'm going to say this. I think what Williams did last week was special. I don't think I've seen that same thing from Ware, although Ware was better in his second game without Kareem Hunt versus his first game where it was more tragic. I do not see them sitting Damian Williams outright. And in fact, I think if it's a hot hand thing, I don't know how they go away from Williams. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on the two of them.
I hate the fact that it's going to be a committee. Like Ware is playing on, he's practicing on a limited basis.
Yeah.
And, that's Andy Reid. Andy Reid loves to like rotate in some running backs. I mean, if he's got a guy like who he thinks is like the guy, then he'll roll with him like he did with Kareem Hunt. I don't think Andy Reid believes that Damian Williams is that guy. I do believe that he would use Spencer Ware a little bit more. So I think that situation right there, I mean, to me, it gets a little tenuous. I had somebody ask about Elijah McGuire versus Spencer Ware versus Damian Williams. And I pivoted towards McGuire simply because he's not sharing touches with anybody. So I don't really know what's going to happen there in Kansas City this week.
Yeah, but okay, so then what would you do then? I mean, would you start Tevin Coleman or Robbie Anderson or James White?
Yeah, probably. I would probably look to, let's see, Robbie Anderson up against the Packers. Tevin Coleman going up against the, where is Atlanta? Oh, they're going up against Carolina. That's kind of a tough matchup there. Or James White. I think I'd probably go with Robbie Anderson here. He gets the targets. Darnold looked really good, actually, last week. I mean, good in the sense that he looked like a capable quarterback and not like some deer in the headlights kind of rookie.
Yeah. Our expectations are low. I mean, listen, he looked competent. And Houston isn't a terrible defense, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, I feel fine about that. Green Bay is obviously not a tough matchup. Green Bay, what another disappointment in general. Holy mackerel.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Yes, I think
if they were
Robbie
to
Anderson
say,
in PPR is good.
if they were to say Spencer Ware is our guy, he's going to be the lead back. Damian Williams will spell him every so often. I'd be fine. I'd be like, give me Spencer Ware all day long. If they said Damian Williams is the guy and Spencer Ware will kind of fill in, then I'd be okay with using Damian Williams. But the fact that we have zero clarity as to who Andy Reid's going to use this week, just makes it a little bit tougher for me.
Well, I just feel like I'd be more comfortable if it was they said Damian Williams is going to be the guy than Spencer Ware, because I'm really afraid that like once Damian Williams has the field in any way, that he's going to end up taking over the game. So I wouldn't trust Spencer Ware. To me, Spencer Ware is the only one that's like completely out of this conversation, because I don't believe that A, he's going to be healthy enough to have the full workload.
Right.
And or B, he won't get completely sniped by Williams anyway. So to me, Ware's the worst option out of all of these. But I agree with you. I think Robbie Anderson's the highest upside in that PPR. Also, they give up a lot of big plays.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing with Green Bay, is that they hold you down, but it's the big plays. Well, that's Robbie Anderson's thing. Big plays. So sometimes he's very frustrating on the short plays or the easy plays, and he just like drops it or like loses focus, or he's a little infuriating. But in terms of like the big play, he's all about it. So I agree with you. Ertz or Engram PPR, guys. I'm sticking with Ertz. I get it. I'm sorry. Ertz is special, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, Howard.
You saw 7 targets. Listen, Alshon Jeffrey is Nick Foles' favorite, no doubt about it. Are you going to see
Welcome back, Alshon.
Yeah, right? Thank you.
Finals. Thanks, Alshon.
Right? I'm so glad I took you in the 3rd round of the FSTA draft, Alshon. Really appreciate everything that you've done for me there. But it's good to see that is. So are you going to see a 12-target day for Zach Ertz? Probably not. I mean, listen, Houston's terrible against the tight end. Their DVOA numbers in coverage are horrible. They give up like the 5th or 6th most fantasy points per game to the tight end position. So, I mean, to me, Zach Ertz is easily in play. And even if he's getting like 7 or 8 targets, that's still probably about, 6 or 7 targets more than your average trash tight end who, whatever. I get Engram is definitely a tick up with OBJ out. But I'm sorry, you can't go against Zach Ertz here.
No, I agree. I don't know if OBJ is going to be out, of course, so we're going to wait for that. But I feel like it's a rotation between Sterling Shepard and Evan Engram. And I would hate for this to be a Sterling Shepard time, whereas I always know Ertz will be involved in one way or another. Also, a very good football player is Dallas Goedert. And I think next year they're going to get him even more involved. I think those 2 tight end sets are going to get nasty. Browns D or Colts D? I go Browns at home against Cincinnati.
See, I like the Colts a little bit more against the Giants. I mean, I know Saquon Barkley.
The Giants don't give up as many fantasy points.
You see Eli throwing picks left and right? It's Eli. Get a strong pass rush there. He's like Joey Mistake. I think he is. Like I think the Bengals want to they want to run more. I mean, Joe Mixon's banged up right now, but I mean, Jeff Driscoll's not a guy who slings the rock often. And the way you beat Cleveland is to run on them, not to pass on them. So unless we're talking about like massive fumbles or potential strip sacks, I just don't necessarily know if Cleveland's going to get the turnover battle there. Meanwhile, Eli, I mean, come on, you see Eli.
But he's only thrown 3 interceptions in the last 6 games. He actually hasn't been all that inaccurate. He just doesn't do a lot.
How many times has he fumbled the ball?
On the season?
No, in those games he's not throwing picks.
He has 3 lost fumbles on the full season. I don't think they've been recent, really. I mean, listen, I'm sure. Well, one was last week, so that's recent. Last week he was terrible. I see what you're saying, but I don't know if I just feel like Cincinnati's always terrible. So I think he wins.
They are.
Anyway, okay. Well, we are kind of split on this. I'm fine with the Colts D. I don't have a problem with either of these. These are good targets. We appreciate when you guys are streaming your defenses because that's how you should do it. Baker or Goff?
I mean, I think I would probably go Baker here only because, I mean, this matchup against Cincinnati's super tasty. and he hasn't looked as crappy as Goff has in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I agree. Full point PPR, Gallup or A-Rob?
Ooh. I mean, I hate to sit there and have to rely on Gallup only because I think Cooper and Zeke are the two primary guys there. We've seen the tight ends get a little bit more involved, but I mean, I don't really think that Gallup has gotten so much work.
Tampa Bay, though.
It is against Tampa Bay. It is. But I mean, again, how much is Dak going to have to throw?
Yeah.
With Zeke, running all over Tampa Bay. I know, I hate that so much. There's certain things, again, Jim Bowden has ruined me on the Cowboys. Like, I didn't hate the Cowboys enough. Jim Bowden has made it like exponentially worse.
San Francisco is playing better football as of late. The Bears are, in my opinion, maybe the team to beat in the NFC. Very good football team, top to bottom.
Must have read my hot takes article.
Oh, I think the problem is with the Bears is that unless you're named Tariq Cohen, you may or may not be in the game plan this week, and we won't know. So that's my only problem with A-Rob. He could put up 25 fantasy points, and I would be 0% surprised. He could put up 2 fantasy points, and I would be 0% surprised because it's all about the game plan. And then when you're going up against San Francisco, they don't really have. They're almost equally as bad at defending everything. So I feel like it's a little bit of a grab bag. So it could be Jordan Howard. It could be A-Rob. It could be Taylor Gabriel. It could be whoever. But I'll tell you this. I just know it's definitely Tariq Cohen. Everything else I'm having a difficult time answering. So for me, you're probably going to go A-Rob because we're having a difficult time believing Gallup is going to get enough targets to feel that way. I think that A-Rob will at least get targets. But, man, I don't feel good about it because that team is just all over the place.
Yeah, it's kind of trashy. I would definitely take a look and see who else is out on the waiver wire.
Yeah, dead serious. Is Robert Foster on the waiver wire? I would way rather have Robert Foster starting this week than I would because, by the way, all the Patriots are going to do is key in on the run and specifically Josh Allen's run. Okay, they're just going to force him to throw all day long, and he's going to make mistakes. I think the Patriots defense is like the play of the week. It's going to be awesome, but he's not always going to make mistakes, and every time he does make a completion, it's probably going to be Robert Foster. So that's what they're going to make him do all week. So I agree with you. Which of the Denver receivers do you like the most? Tim Patrick, Deshaun Hamilton? Hamilton. I don't know how you don't.
It certainly isn't Cortland Sutton. I'll tell you that.
Holy mackerel, no.
Does that dude suck at football right now? Or what? I think, listen, I'll say this about Sutton. I think he is a very good talent. He is, very good potential. This year, he was so not ready to be thrust into a featured role.
Correct. They should not have traded Demaryius Thomas. It was a huge mistake. I think I'm going to say my Broncos because they're mine. We would be in the playoffs if we would have kept Demaryius Thomas. I'm thoroughly convinced. The defense is doing well. The offense was, clicking. We got Philip Lindsay is incredible. And then we just traded him away. And then Emmanuel Sanders gets hurt. And now we're just like, there's no way. There's just no way. We can't lose both of them. So I think Cortland Sutton is a complimentary wide receiver. I don't think he should be a number 1.
No, he should not. He should not.
Whereas Deshaun Hamilton's a really good position. He's a possession receiver who's really good at that.
I agree, and I think that just his game favors the abilities of Case Keenum. I think it plays to Keenum's strengths as opposed to Sutton, where it forces Keenum to throw downfield, throw a couple of jump balls, that kind of thing, and that's just not working.
Yeah, and I think Patrick's kind of fun in a sneaky way. They seem to get him on sneaky plays when he's just not even covered. It's like people don't take him seriously. They should. By the way, 18 targets in the last 2 games. If they don't get it by now, they're going to get it soon. But I still think that Deshaun Hamilton is the first look, and then the second look is Tim Patrick. And then, unfortunately, the third look is Cortland Sutton. Unbelievable. Which tight end do you like most, Evan Engram or Cameron Brate?
If OBJ is out, I like Evan Engram. If OBJ is playing, then I like Cameron Brate.
I think that's fair. Yes, he had a bad game last week, but typically he is the guy. They were at Baltimore. Baltimore is a good defense. Whenever people freak out about
Who's
a
at
player doing
Baltimore?
no, they were at Baltimore.
Oh,
Tampa Bay
yeah.
was. That's why he had a bad game. He had like 1 point or something in fantasy, and that's bad. Don't get me wrong, but he was playing a fabulous defense, so that does happen. Don't freak out when it does. Please look at the matchups; it's important. Rivers or Dak? I'd be stacking with Zeke if I played Dak, which I don't like to do. But Keenan Allen-less Rivers versus Baltimore scares me. I agree. I think I'd go Dak and Zeke and whatever.
Yep, me too.
YOLO.
I won't say it, but yes, I agree that Dak is the play here.
YOLO.
Sorry, I'm not a snowflake who's like super excited about consolation brackets and teal ribbons of participation. That
How
just
do we know
doesn't
this
do
is
it
a
for me.
consolation bracket?
No. I'm just saying in general when people who say YOLO.
They're in
Are
consolation brackets?
they're the snowflakes of the millennial generation, Brandon. Don't shake your head at me. Don't roll your eyes at me, young lady. Don't you get. Haven't you done that?
Oh, there's nothing like a grumpy Gen Xer to ruin the day.
Oh yeah, dude. I will crap on everything all day long. 100%. I am like, yeah, I'm like the old man in the movie Up. Only my wife's not dead yet.
Yeah.
As soon as she is,
Very grumpy.
then I'm even worse.
Yet is the perfect part of that sentence right there. That is your true colors.
I will say, my wife and marijuana are the two reasons why I'm not in jail for murder right now. 100%.
God love her.
100%.
Do you want to play with us, the Fantasy Alarm crew? We are playing this weekend at Fantasy Factor. Fantasy Factor is 100% single entry, everybody. One lineup. That's it. You got to actually be good. If you own the Playbook Pro, we completely support Fantasy Factor in our tools to make creating the lineups easier. So just come play with us. Have some fun. It's fantasyalarm.com Factor contest. Fantasyalarm.com / sorry, you got to put a slash in there. Factor contest. Repeat it one more time. Fantasyalarm.com / Factor contest. I love single entry, people. That is the way to go. All right. Goff, Matty Ice, or Josh Allen?
Ooh. I mean, I kind of.
It's killing me, man. I mean, I don't like him against the Patriots, but man, he is killing it.
I kind of don't mind him too much. See, here's the thing with Josh Allen. Because everybody's freaking out that he only had 16 rushing yards last week. But see, here's the thing. If Josh Allen is being flushed out of the pocket by a decent pass rush, then he's running. He's taking off. If he doesn't see his hot receiver, to get him the ball, then he's taking off and he's running all over the place. And that actually raises his floor, in my opinion. So if he's against a team that has a decent pass rush, then that gets him to run more. You look at his touchdown run last week, what was going on? He was trying to pass the ball, and all of a sudden the pass rush started creeping up on him, so he took off and he ran over for the touchdown. I mean, do I trust that versus Matt Ryan? Who was the third option? The third option was somebody I was immediately ruling out.
Jared Goff.
Oh, yeah, I can't trust him. I think I would go Allen here and just kind of bite the bullet.
YOLO.
No.
You know what it is that, okay, so Josh Allen only had 16 yards rushing, is what we said. Still almost 20 fantasy points. 19.76 fantasy points. You guys, he has 19 or more fantasy points in every single one of his games since coming back from injury. That was his down week. And by the way, this was the first week since I think it was the first week all season that there wasn't a quarterback that went over 30 fantasy points. Not one.
Oh, this past week was garbage for quarterbacks. Garbage.
Trash. So Josh Allen was still a superstar even without all of those stats. So on the ground, it's unbelievable. Defense: Browns, Colts, Saints. You and I feel differently about the Browns and the Colts, but if we add the Saints in here with Pittsburgh, which I don't know why you would do that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Especially now that Cam Jordan came out and said that he does not think Ben Roethlisberger is a future Hall of Famer and that Eli should be in there before Ben, but he said it in a way like even him, he's even better. Which I don't know why you would do that right before playing somebody. No.
Give them a little fodder. Why not? Why not? If I'm including the Saints in here, I'm saying Colts, Browns, Saints. That's
Okay.
the order I'm going to go. You're
All right.
going to go Browns, Colts, Saints.
Yes. Yeah. Unless I hear something that really blows my mind.
Do we want to go triple or nothing on the sourdough I owe you?
No, I just want my sourdough at this point.
Damn it.
I have Gurley, Chubb, and Lindsay in my flex. I have Peterson, Fournette, Ware, Jamal Williams, and Jalen Samuels on the bench. Non-PPR, worried about Gurley. I am also worried about Gurley. We can better answer this question on Sunday.
Yeah.
If you had to fill in for Gurley, who would you put in there?
To me, it's coming down to either Jalen Samuels or Jamal Williams.
Really?
One or the other. Yeah,
Really?
I mean,
you can't do Jamal Williams. You guys.
Why not?
Because whenever he's had his chance, he has scored nothing. Why do we think now he's going to score? I don't get it.
I don't know. He got into the end zone last week, didn't he?
Everyone gets into the end zone. And I mean, like.
No. If everybody got into the end zone, we wouldn't be talking about touchdown dependent people.
I agree. I'll say this.
Jets are giving up 130 rushing yards per game over the last 3 weeks.
I know. I just think that we've had so many good matchups with Jamal Williams at the beginning of the season. We saw nothing, and it really worries me.
So who do you go? Samuels? Who are you tilting towards here? Come on. Who is it?
You know who it is? It's Leonard Fournette against Miami. I don't know why he wouldn't be the number one starter here. I know he stinks.
He doesn't stink. I'm saying he didn't. The problem that I have with Fournette, and the problem that we've all got with Fournette right now, is that he came out after the game and was like, "Oh yeah, it was in the game plan to give Dave Williams a bunch of carries in the second half instead of me."
Yeah.
So if you're talking about Jacksonville in a game that means nothing to them, if they want to give Dave Williams a look to see what they've gotten him, why wouldn't they do it again this week as opposed to, just last week?
Because I think that they're still going to give Fournette enough touches for him to be able to decimate the Miami Dolphins' terrible run defense.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think they're going to take him off the field entirely. I could totally be wrong. I just have a very difficult time believing that. I mean, listen, he played at Tennessee and versus Washington over the last 2 weeks, and he didn't play well against them, but they're good run defenses, right? So no one really.
Washington's given up 180 rushing yards per game over the last 3 weeks.
No, that's true. But Washington is. Yeah, well, that okay, I agree with that. But Washington is a weird team because they don't even have a quarterback. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just cannot imagine not playing Fournette against the Miami Dolphins. That's all.
I hear you. I mean, listen.
That's so sad.
If you can tell me that the dude's going to get 10 to 12 carries in the first half, well, then okay. I mean, I'm sold on that one. I just think Jalen Samuels will see the volume, and he'll see the pass catching work as well. And we saw the way they used him last week. There was no sign of Stephen Ridley. Like that wasn't even remotely a concern for anyone there. So
yeah, what a very interesting kind of like decoy there.
Oh, Stephen Ridley?
Yeah, because they really played it up all week, and then it was like nada.
It was like a decoy for fantasy owners. That was Mike Tomlin trolling the fantasy community.
I agree with you. I think it's Jalen Samuels, but then I think it's Fournette. I don't know, man. That's gonna be too far for me to not have him going. But if Gurley plays, though, you still have to play him. Wouldn't you say that?
I don't know. I mean, I know it's Arizona and they're bad, but I mean, you gotta. It really boggles my mind that Sean McVay would even play him. Like, I don't even understand. It makes no sense to play Todd Gurley. You're playing against a team who you could beat with or without Todd Gurley. Okay, and if you give Kelly 15 to 20 carries against the worst run defense in the NFL, he's going to produce for you. I mean, do you have the versatility in Kelly that you do in Gurley? No, but I mean, let's think about the long term here. Let's think about Sean McVay becoming like the dumbass of the NFL because Gurley is playing in a game he shouldn't be playing in, And what happens? He gets leg whipped and his knee gets all messed up again. Like exactly why everybody's crapping all over Anthony Lynn about playing Melvin Gordon when he shouldn't have. So I worry about that. That's my big concern. There's just no reason to play Gurley. There's no reason.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I just think they're going to. And here's the thing: if they do play him, I don't even think Gurley needs more than a half of football and against that defense to put up fantasy points.
Right, but if he's not at 100%, why do you even want to risk it when you know you're going to the playoffs already? You already know you're going.
I agree, but I think if they do risk it, I think he puts up fantasy points. That's all I'm saying. I agree. I think they should call him out right now. They should just say, no, he's out.
I agree.
I mean, that's what I agree with. But if he's going to play, I'm just saying, I don't know if I would sit Gurley in my championship if he is on the football field. I'd have a very difficult time doing that. Yeah, I understand the logic, but...
Yeah, it's risk reward here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Is really what it comes down to. I'm going to, because it's a championship game, I'm going to play it a little bit more conservatively, and I'm going to go with the guy who I'm not worried about, the injury walking in. I'm not worried. I'm not going to go with the guy who, if something happens, if an offensive lineman gets pushed back and knocked into Gurley, that McVay's like, all right, let me just get this guy out. Let me just take him out of here. Stupid to play him. Like that kind of thing. Like I worry about that. I mean, you're Sean McVay's girl on the side, aren't you? You know what he's all about.
I'm definitely his groupie, and I'm surprised. Well, I'm the one who started telling people that he wasn't going to play in Week 16 months ago because I thought they'd have the bye, or the home field advantage done by now. But they've kind of blown it, so they don't. So I was wrong on that. But I do think that sitting him is the right call. They've used him so much. So I agree with you. I don't think they will, which is really weird, but true. 1 point PPR, I need a flex. I have Edelman, White, Ware, Mack, Humphreys, Damian Williams, Mike Williams, and Jalen Samuels. You only need one? John Barkley. What is going on? Let me give this to you again.
You don't have to. Marlon Mack.
Yeah.
I'm going all in on Marlon Mack here against the Giants. Their run defense is suspect. Yeah. We watched him destroy Dallas last week. Destroy. And then Samuels would be my second pick.
Great. If Connor is declared out, can we drop him? Well, yeah, if your championship's in Week 16.
Right, that's what I said. Is that Hans?
It's Christian.
Okay. Anderson? Hans Christian Anderson?
Yes.
Hans Christian Anderson
Garcia.
It's okay. Hello, Pedialyte.
I love that you consider Pedialyte one of the drugs. When it's
it is when you chug a whole bottle, I'll tell you that.
Oh, it just makes me want to throw up. Half point PPR, need one flex. Have Edwards, White, Ware, Michelle, Sutton, Mike Williams, and Doug Martin. Ugh. So many people.
So much grossness there. That's a hodgepodge of disgusting. Mm-hmm. Like in this case here, I would say that
Edwards for me.
Yeah, I would probably lean there as well. Thank you for saying it. Not making me have to. I felt the bile here in my throat.
Why? He had a good game last week. He went over 100 yards, finally scored a rushing touchdown for the first time since Week 11.
Bay.
Of course, and now it's the Chargers, and the Chargers gave up a ton on the ground last week. The Chargers have been giving up a ton on the ground the majority of the season. And I think they finally realized that they can't just have Lamar Jackson out there running the whole time. And, he's getting less and less effective as it goes on in the season. So they're going to have to figure it out. I thought Edwards was a fine pick. And I like him against the Chargers this week. So
Chargers have given up 89.7 rushing yards per game over the last 3 weeks. I mean, I still like Edwards over that whole hodgepodge group that they were giving me there. I just don't love the matchup as much as you. But I do think that Edwards is the guy, or should be the guy.
I mean, Damian Williams killed it last week. Joe Mixon killed it the week before that. Jalen Samuels was fine. He wasn't like Fabu, but he was fine. And that was the game in which James Conner went crazy. I mean, we're talking about everyone over the last, since their Week 8 bye, 1, 2, 3, 4 running backs have gone over 20 fantasy points. Not even like 10, not even 15, 20. So I think it's fine. I think they have to do it.
Pass catching running backs or regular running backs?
I mean, both. because Darrell Williams scored a receiving touchdown. Jalen Samuels scored a receiving touchdown. Damian Williams put up 74 yards in the air.
Right, one of it, yeah.
Jalen Richard had 5 catches for 52.
So that's what I'm saying.
7 catches for 45 from Mike Davis. I mean, they didn't go up against a lot of receiving ones, but the people that had catches had a lot.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Gus Edwards isn't that guy.
Right, but Joe Mixon went over 100 yards. Philip Lindsay went 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. James Conner 60 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground.
Okay.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to poop on the Chargers here, but if Baltimore wants to win, they got to use Gus Edwards, in my opinion. But, you know, Baltimore, we don't
Baltimore wants to win. Yeah, they should bench Lamar Jackson and put Joe Flacco in also.
We don't know whether Baltimore wants to win or not. So maybe I'm being presumptuous.
What are you talking about? Come on. It's going to be the Ravens against the Bears in the Super Bowl this year.
I know. I feel like they're winning despite themselves. Don't you?
Listen, you know what? Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. What does that tell you?
So true.
Defense wins ball games. That's why, like, it's so funny because we're sitting here and we're talking about, like, the Chiefs offense and the Rams offense and the Saints offense and, you know, and the Patriots offense. And look at it. All of these teams are getting the shit smacked out of them by these, like, hardcore defenses.
Yeah, the Bears are just smacking people.
Oh, I love that. I love that more than anything in the world. I think that really, like, that is, like, what's keeping me interested in football right now. That everybody's in their grandmother's like, oh my God, these guys are the greatest. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest, blah, blah, blah. You know what? You put Khalil Mack chasing down Patrick Mahomes, and then somebody show me what that frizz top is actually doing on the field. Like, come on.
Frizz top.
Dude, I can't get past the kid and play haircut. I can't.
Hey.
He looks like a piece of broccoli.
Kid and play was awesome. Yeah, no, it's awkward. And it's really awkward because Chicago plays San Francisco this week, and it's like, and then they're in Minnesota. Minnesota gives up a ton of points to defense because Kirk Cousins, again, tragedy. So I don't know. It is fascinating what Chicago's done this year. Very impressed. Again, if only we could know that any offensive player was fantasy worthy other than Tariq Cohen. But we don't. Other than that, though, the team is the best team to watch in football. Agreed with you. I love them. Love them, love them, love them. If Mixon doesn't play, would you go with the Browns defense over the Broncos?
Yes.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Although it's close. I mean, I just think the Broncos are just going to rock it. But, yeah, I think they're both going to rock it, so I feel fine. Robbie Anderson or Fournette, PPR? You like Anderson? I'm fine with Anderson. It's so hard for me emotionally speaking to not play a stud like Leonard Fournette against the Miami Dolphins, like we've been telling you to do with like terrible running backs.
I
put up 20 points.
I would probably go with Fournette here over Anderson. I would. Okay. Only because you have to expect that he's going to see touches. I mean, even if he gets 10 touches, is Robbie Anderson going to have 10 targets? I mean, that's, you know, if you're looking at, you know, it's the laws of flexology is that you put the ball into, you use the guy who's going to touch the ball the most. And that's the running back here. Even if he sits out the whole second half, they're not going to pass it 30 times in the first half. It's Cody Kessler.
I like, well, or it might be Blake Bortles because Cody Kessler blew it. Yeah, there's rumors that they might go back to Bortles a little bit here. It's even
Talking
worse.
about
It's
blowing it.
It's just it's bad. That's what I'm saying. I think they're going to run the ball so many times that even if they give everyone chances, I think everyone's going to eat. That's all I'm saying. By the way, you said flexology, and I love that. Now this is showing my age. Do you remember the song Vibology by Paula Abdul?
I mean, I remember it. I couldn't sing it for you right now.
No. Anyway, if you're old like me and you remember Paula Abdul's Vibology, give me a shout out in the comments, everybody. Okay, I'm going to switch over here to our lovely Periscope people that I've been ignoring this whole time. Hello, BML and Bender. Thanks for the help getting to 4 championships. Woo! Drew Brees or Baker Mayfield?
I got to go with Drew Brees at home. Yeah. I know it's been like a nightmare, but I got to go with Brees at home.
I agree. Baker Mayfield, though, one of my favorite quarterbacks.
This week, absolutely. Oh, I'm going to have a nice little brown stack in DFS.
Sexy. Doug Baldwin, if healthy, or Robbie Anderson. I think I still go Anderson.
Oh, really? See, I go Doug Baldwin here.
You think he's going to be healthy? Maybe it's
I
just
think
that I think he's not going to be healthy.
I think he is going to be healthy. He was fine.
Okay.
He was, he sat with the questionable tag all last week, and he missed practices early on. If Doug Baldwin puts in a full practice on Friday, then I'm very happy with him as the guy. I mean, so it's the Chiefs.
Yeah, they have to throw. And Baldwin put up 23.7 points last week in PPR format. So certainly he has it in him. Maybe maybe I'm just being wimpy. I'm being wimpy. I agree with you. It should be Baldwin. Jamalfa Williams or John Kelly if Gurley is ruled out early.
Can I tell you how much I love people calling him Jamalfa Williams?
I know. It's so nice. Thanks for listening to the show.
Who is it? Him and Kelly?
Yeah, I think I'd go Kelly if Gurley was ruled out.
100%.
I'm afraid Gurley is not going to get ruled out, though. So I don't want to get your hopes up. But yes, we agree.
Jamalfa Williams. I'm giving him a shot.
Oh, I can't. PPR need 2. Mixon, Mack, and Cook. I would go Mack.
I'm going Mixon and Mack here.
Yeah.
But I would watch the health of Mixon.
Yeah, because then you go Cook against Detroit, but I'd rather do Mixon. Agreed. I agree. They are in no position to get cute. I don't remember what that was about, but hi, Jim. Any updates on Spencer Ware? Just that, he's limited. We don't know, and it's terrible for all of us. That's the update, right, Howard?
That is exactly the update.
Jamal Williams or Derrick Henry, PPR.
Oh, you gotta go Derrick Henry. How do you not go Derrick Henry at this point?
Yeah, he's on fire now. I mean, his upside is just too great, and Jamal Williams has no upside. We've seen that numerous times.
448 yards and 7 touchdowns in the last 3 games for Derrick Henry.
It's clear. It's clear as day.
That's just nuts. That's
Fournette,
nuts. Of course, it'll be a Dion Lewis game, though.
Yeah. Going with a hot hand. You guys, if I hear the phrase hot hand again, I'm going to lose it. Lose my mind. Derrick Henry has a higher ceiling than Jamalfa Williams, so that is always going to be our answer. Fournette, Jamal Williams, or James White, non-PPR. I go Fournette here.
Fournette, Jamalfa Williams, or yeah, I guess you could go Fournette here.
Fournette has
Lenny
upside against Miami.
Lenny has ruined my fantasy season, Brandon.
He is bad.
Ruined it.
I feel yeah, it's just sad. Dallas defense or Indianapolis defense?
Indianapolis. Love the Colts.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the Cowboys too this week, though. Tampa Bay. Woof.
Kind of feel like Jameis Winston's really just kind of still nursing that knee injury.
Yeah.
That's a problem for him. I do.
Yeah, I do too. He did not look right last week. Woof. Happy holidays, guys. What up? I have all questionable running backs. Lovely. Need 2 from Gurley, Lamar Miller, and both Williamses.
Oh. I mean, in this case here, I would probably say that you got to go with, with any luck, Gurley will just be ruled out. And then you won't have to deal. Jamalfa Williams would be 1. And then I guess Lamar Miller would probably be the other. Oh, wait, Damian Williams he had?
Yeah, I just put Damian Williams.
Yeah, I guess I would go Damian Williams instead of Lamar Miller.
This is a Sunday question, man.
Yeah, this is early Sunday morning.
Yeah, because there's you're right. You have all questionable running backs in questionable situations. So until we have Sunday morning more clarity, this is a hard question for us to answer. So please come back on Sunday. We'll be here. We'll be here. You be here, and we'll talk. Kareem Hunt or Josh Gordon, non-PPR. Love it. Listen, Josh Gordon has issues, and I hope he gets better. And it's scary time. Kareem Hunt has issues, and I hope he also gets better because it's also scary time. But yeah, this is the beauty of fantasy football this year. We have guys that have been studs that we can't even talk about anymore because they're just nowhere anymore. They just disintegrated into nothing, and we're left with nothing.
I think we'll see Kareem Hunt next year. Some stupid ass organization will be like, "Oh yeah. Well, we'd rather have him on our team than running against us."
Washington.
Josh Gordon, I think, should be done. Like done with football altogether here. Um, the only way that this guy is going to get help or the help that he needs is that if the NFL is out of the equation for him. Like that's just bottom line right there. You can't put him in a clubhouse with all these guys. You go out for a team dinner and everybody's boozing except for you. Everybody's puffing out, in the smoking section, and you're not doing it. You can't be around it all, and just assume that you're going to be able to stay clean. That's just not. It's not possible. It's not feasible.
Yeah, I think it's really hard. I would also say that there's some debates about like whether it was just weed or whatever else, and like all this other stuff. He knew what the situation was, so I'm intrigued to hear what happens. So anyway, best of luck to him, but he obviously can't be on your fantasy team anymore. And by the way, again, even if you're playing in week 17, you can drop dudes that are out. Like drop them. He's still in a lot of rosters. Goodbye.
If you're in a keeper league, drop him. I don't care. Like anybody, and I'll say this flat out.
Yeah. Dynasty is one thing, but keeper, give me a break.
Not even dynasty, because look at the game logs for Josh Gordon. Aside from like 3-4 games out of the entire season, was he really worth what people were paying for him? Was he really worth that to you in this season? The problem is that this guy, it's repeated issues over and over again. You're wasting a pick. If you even think about him next year, you're wasting a roster spot. Even thinking about him being on your dynasty team. He should not be playing, and he's going to drag you down much, much, much more than he's even going to remotely pick you up.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to try to like jam through these because we have 5 minutes left. So Howard advised me to play Samuels over Ebron. Wanted to pick your brain as to why.
Because I said so.
There it is. Goff or Josh Allen? We both say Josh Allen, right?
Samuel's going to touch the ball significantly more than Eric Ebron is. Significantly more. And the better that he's got much better chances of scoring on a regular basis, racking up yards and getting into the end zone. So that's why I do it. Next.
Goff or Josh Allen? We say Allen?
Yep.
Baldwin got taken off the injury report today per ESPN. Great. Then go with it. It's beautiful. Listen, I mean, who doesn't want a wide receiver going against the Chiefs? 0 people. PPR, Winston, Jackson, or Allen. Doesn't matter about PPR.
Winston, Jackson, or Allen. Allen.
Yeah. Alshon Jeffrey or Gus Edwards, non-PPR.
I still go Jeffrey.
Really? Over Gus Edwards?
I think he's got a better chance of getting in the box in this game.
Okay. I think Alshon Jeffrey has a lot of upside. I think Gus Edwards has the higher floor for sure. Non-PPR flex, Ware, Breida, McGuire.
McGuire.
Agreed. By the way, very fun, McGuire. Dak or Ryan this week? What if Julio doesn't play?
Then you start Dak. You know what? If Julio plays, you start Dak.
I think you start Dak either way, guys. Sorry. And by the way, this is with the anti-Cowboys dude here. Rivers or Mayfield? Hi, Lindsay.
Mayfield.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I don't like Rivers against Baltimore either. You two saved me last week by recommending Mike Williams over Cortland Sutton and McGuire over Michelle. Yeah, we did. I remembered that, actually. I have the same problem this week. Full point PPR. What do?
You start.
Keep it.
Yeah, McGuire and Williams.
Mm-hmm. Y'all the best. Thank you. How about them Cowboys? Wow, John. One too many. Haha. I'm with you, Howard. So after having Cam kill my season, is it okay that I felt satisfaction to drop his behind for Baker? LOL. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That shoulder's getting worse. And in fact, if you want to talk about irresponsible coaching, I don't know why Cam Newton's on the field. I said it.
Got shut down. He's it. That's it. They're done. Mm-hmm. They officially shut him down.
He shouldn't have been on the field, though.
Oh, no. He shouldn't have been on the field for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Did I say should? I meant shouldn't. Shouldn't have been on the field. We shouldn't have had to make those choices, is what I'm saying. He should have never been there.
That is true.
Thanks a lot, guys, for helping me with the draft guide all the way to this week. Hopefully, I take the chip home this week. Happy holidays. Happy holidays, Christian. We adore you. Half point PPR. Would you drop Martin and grab Balaj? If so, add Balaj to that question. I wrote 5 above. No, we're not going to do that. But I say yes, drop Martin for Balaj. You?
I agree.
Higher upside. Fournette scares me because I think Miami is actually going to go up a couple scores on Jacksonville, causing Bortles to somewhat try and throw, taking Fournette out of the game plan. Nah, I think if there's any game plan that's going to be successful, it has to be on the run game. But how do you feel about that?
I don't hate it. I don't hate the theory. I can't, I'm not going to say whether I completely support it or not. I think there's a lot of problems for Jacksonville right now. That the Dolphins are going to go up like a couple of scores early, I don't necessarily know about that. Like that, I have to say, that might be a little bit more wishful thinking. That sounds to me like somebody owns Balaj and Kenny Stills.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking. Half-point PPR. If Gurley sits, would you be worried to start Woods and Cooks? If so, would you start Mike Williams over any of them? Actually, Woods and Cooks have still been fine with Jared Goff being tragic. So no, although I like Mike Williams, but I don't like Mike Williams as much against Baltimore. Thoughts?
No, I don't like, and especially if Keenan Allen comes back as well. I think that makes for a bit of a problem. I think the Cooks and Woods situation here. Woods is I like them. I would say though that you would have to watch to see if Patrick Peterson is going to shadow Brandon Cooks in this matchup. They don't usually have him shadowing the slot, so that's why I think Woods is the better play here. But I think I like them both over Mike Williams.
I think Woods is always the better play. Woods, quietly one of the best fantasy options of the 2018 fantasy football season.
Well, wouldn't you want to perform well once you just got out of Buffalo? Like, come on, let's face facts.
True. I'm a party. I think the Rams, fear losing home field advantage to the Bears. Yes, they do, and that's why they're going to start Gurley, and that's why I'm worried. I saw Paula Abdul in concert in 1988. She was definitely taking 2 steps forward and 2 steps back because opposites attract. Woo! That's right, John Barkley. That's right. Kareem Hunt getting picked up by Washington. That's right. Don't forget to vote for our panel peeps. Just noticed voting is closed. Oh, yeah, it is closed, you guys. But thank you so much for all the votes, everybody. We adore you.
Did we win? I want to know if we won.
I don't know if we won, too. And then the last question is Fournette or Damian Williams?
I'll go Fournette.
Boom! We got to them all. Woo! Agreed. Okay. You guys are the best. We love you. It's week 16. It is the championship. And you guys all tuned in on Thursday without a Thursday night football game. So I am really impressed with everybody. We had a great turnout, tons of great questions. Thank you so much. And we're so excited to take you through to the championship. It's our time. Remember, 2 games on Saturday, everybody. It's at 4:30 and 8:20 Eastern. So make sure that you set those lineups on Saturday and then be here at 11 a.m. on Sunday. Do you have anything else to share with us, Mr. Bender?
Nope. Just enjoy the weekend, guys. It's time to bring home those championships.
This is our time. All right, everybody. Good night.